So first, the learning goals for today are I can multiply and divide fractions, and then I can multiply and divide decimals. And then just for fun, does anybody know what the largest country in the world is?
Largest country of the world. Largest. আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ দেশ পৃথিৱীৰ। এছিয়া। country মানে দেশে হয়। দেশ হয় country হয়। কি হয়? ডাঙৰকে কোৱা। ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰকে কোৱা আকৌ।
Okay. Does anybody know the answer, or should I reveal the answer?
They're saying Russia.
Okay. They're correct. Russia is the right answer. All right. Next, let's see how to multiply fractions. So, to multiply fractions, all you need to do is multiply the top both numbers and multiply the bottom both numbers and then simplify. So a reminder, how to simplify means that you divide it into simplest terms. So for multiplying fractions, it is just like normal multiplication, except you do what is on the top and what is on the bottom. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, for dividing fractions, there's some more steps to do. So the first step is that you keep the first fraction that you want to divide into the same. So you just keep it the same. But then you do the next step is to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. So if it was 1/2 divided by 1/4, it would now be 1/2 times. And then the third step is to flip the third number upside down, and that is what is being divided. So 1/2 divided by 1/4 would be 1/2 times 4, because we are flipping 1/4 around. So multiply through and simplify. If being multiplied by a whole number, write the number as 1 over the number, then multiply and simplify. So how to simplify fractions, this is just a reminder. So you can see on the bottom or on the right that there are some examples. So do the first two, division and multiplication, make sense, and should I show some explanations or some example problems? So I'm assuming everybody is following, so I will move on to the next slide. So find the answer to these problems, and then it's totally okay if you don't know how to do it, because I will show the answer after. So take a minute or two to try this, and then raise your hand when you know the answer.
Okay. এইটো কৰিব লাগে।
দুটা কৰি দিয়া।
2/4 into 2/6 আৰু এটা 2/4 divide by 2.
Okay.
2/6, no? Itu 2/6 itu. No, itu কৰা।
So
আনসাৰটো কৈ দিয়া। ছাৰ হ'ল আনসাৰ।
could somebody tell the first answer?
আনসাৰটো কোৱা। কাৰ হ'ল? কাৰ হ'ল?
Is more time needed, or do we know the answer to these?
টাইম লাগিবনে আৰু? Okay, they need time.
Okay. After this, I will show how to solve these problems. So remember, multiplication, you multiply the top numbers together and the bottom numbers together, and then division, you switch the division sign and you also flip the second number.
Multiply ওপৰত কিমান আহিব? অকল লঘিতা পূৰণ কৰিব লাগে আৰু অকল হৰগিতা পূৰণ কৰিব লাগে। You have to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. কিমান হ'ব? হা? ওপৰত কিমান আহিব? 4 তলত 2 নহয়। ডিনোমিনেটৰ প্লাস হ'লে মাল্টিপ্লাই কৰিব লাগিব। মাল্টিপ্লাই তলত কিমান আহিব? 24 আনসাৰটো কিমান হ'ব? 24 ডাঙৰ কি কৰ? 4/24.
Okay. So I'm hearing most people got 4/24 for the first one. So let's go through and see the correct answer. So here. First, we have 2/4 times 2/6. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 6 is 24. So right now, this looks like the right answer, but if you were to do this, you would only get it half correct. So you would not get full points. But if you can see here, this number can be simplified. So whenever you get an answer that can be simplified, you always want to do it. So does any does anyone know what this number can be simplified into, or should I show how to do it?
Yes, sir.
একেটা সংখ্যা দুইটাকে হৰণ কৰি দিয়া দুই।
Okay. So I know that 4 times 6 is 24, and I know 4 times 1 is 4. So that means I can figure out that 4 divided by 4 would be 1, and 24 divided by 4 would be 6. So does that make sense why the answer is 1/6?
Yes.
Okay. Should I show the answer to the next problem?
Next question to answer কৰিব লাগে।
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next problem was asking 2 by 4 divided by 2. So we can see here that there are 3 rules. The first rule is to keep it the same. So same. The second rule
Okay, এইটো লিখিব
is that you change the division sign to a multiply sign. And then the third rule is you make the third number flip. So, what does this look like? The first step is to keep 2 by 4 the same. That's easy. It's just that. And then, the second step when dividing with fractions is to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. Okay? But then, because we need to flip 2 upside down and there's no number beneath it, it would not be 2. We can think of 2 as 2 over 1. So, when we flip it upside down, it becomes 1 over 2. And now a trick we can do here that you should remember because it is very useful is something called cross multiplication. So if there are two numbers that are across from each other like diagonally and they can both be simplified, you can simplify it. So 2 and 2 can be simplified, correct?
Yes.
So you would cross this number 2 out, write a 1, cross 2 out, and write a 1. So now this becomes very simple, and it just becomes 1 times 1, which is 1, and 4 times 1, which is 4.
And there is one.
So does that make sense for how to do it, or should I go more in depth?
বুজি পালা নে আৰু বুজাব লাগিব?
Yes, sir.
বুজি পালে
Okay.
আন্ডাৰস্টুড বুলি কলো।
Okay. I will now go back to the slides. So the answers, as we can see, are 1/6 and 1/4. So I know these may look difficult at first, but using the cross multiplication and using the rules that I showed before, just try these out. We can take 3 to 4 minutes or more time if needed, and then I will show the solutions to each one. So just try your best and make sure you remember to simplify.
প্ৰথমটো পূৰণ কৰিব দিছো, সেকেন্ডটো হৰণ। 2 by 4 multiplied by 2 by 6. First question. Second question is 3 by 4 divided by 1 by 2. কোনবা লেখা নাই নেকি? কোনে লেখা নাই? আনসার কৰিছো। আৰু সিম্পলিফাই কৰিবা মানে সমতুল্য ভগ্নাংশ কি বুলি কয় এইটো একেবাৰে কম কৰিব লাগিব। ন্যূনতম কিবা বুলি কয় ডিভিজন দিছে দেই, দুইটা হৰণ কৰা দেই, দুইটা হৰণ কৰা দিছে, দুইটা হৰণ দুটাই হৰণ কৰা 2 by 4 divided by 2 by 6 or 3 by 4 divided by 2 by 6. প্ৰথমটো এইটো সেকেন্ডটো এইটো তিনটা আছে কেইবাটাও আছে প্ৰশ্ন আৰু 3 নম্বৰ প্ৰশ্ন এটাও আছে দেই এইটো 3 নম্বৰ
Okay.
প্ৰশ্নটো
Did you say everybody's done?
লাষ্টটো
Okay.
পুৰা এটা কৰিলো না কি হ'ব লাগিছে কৈ দিয়া আছে কৈ ফাৰ্ষ্ট কোৱেশ্চন আছে শুনা নাই উঠি গুচি আহ টকাখন লৈ আহিবা
So, ready for the answers?
Yes.
yes
So, there's two ways to do the first problem, and I will show both of them. And you decide which one you think is easier.
আনসাৰটো কৰিও দিব কোনটো সহজ তোমালোকৰ মতে কৰিম
For this, we need to keep the first number the same, make the division sign into a multiplication sign, and then flip over the 6 by 2. Now, as we can see here, we can multiply right away and say this is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 4 is 8. But this isn't the right answer because you can still simplify. So let's try to simplify by 2. If we divide by 2, we would get 6 on the top. If we divide by 2, we would get 4 on the bottom. But this can still be simplified again by 2. So I'll try it again, and I'll get 3 on the top, then I'll get 2 on the bottom. So all I did was I made it a multiplication sign, I flipped the numbers around, and then I simplified. But then there's also a second way to do it, and I will show the second way in the second question. That is saying 3/4 divided by 1/3. Well, first, does everybody understand the answer to the first question? Okay, so we have 2/4 times 6 over 2. So if you don't want to simplify, but you want to cross multiply instead, you can do that here. So we see the two numbers diagonal of each other can be simplified, and these two diagonal of each other can be simplified as well. So 2 by 2 can be simplified to 1 by 1. And then 6 divided by 2 would be 3. And then 4 divided by 2 would be 2. So this is another way of doing simplification, is to just cross multiply early on so you don't need to deal with bigger numbers later. So as we can see here, multiply 1 by 3, we multiply 1 by 2, and we still get the same answer of 3 by 2. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Could I get a verbal confirmation that I can move on to the next question?
বুজি পাইছে নাই সুধিছে নেক্সট কোৱেশ্চনটো যোৱাৰ আগতে yes বা no কৈ দিয়া তেতিয়া Can you hear us?
কৈ দিয়া
No, sir.
নেক্সট কুৱেশ্যনত যাব লাগে নেকি কৈ দিয়া we can move to the next question.
Okay, sounds good. So the next question is asking 3 by 4 divided by 1 by 3. So the rule is to keep the first number the same. You switch the division sign to a multiplication sign, and now we flip the second number upside down. So it would be 1 by 3 would now be 3 by 1. So now this one is a better case because we can see that 3 by 3 is simply 9 and 4 times 1 is 4. And we can see this can't be simplified at all. So your answer would be 9 by 4. Does that make sense?
Yes, pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. And the third question is asking 5 by 3 times 1 by 2. 5 by 3 times 1 by 2. So this multiplication question is fairly simple. All you need to do is multiply the two top numbers and put it on the top and the two bottom numbers and put it there. So this would be 5 by 6. Does everybody get that?
বুজি পালে একেলগে কবা নুশুনে নহলে একেলগে কোৱা yes sir
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we can move on to the next slide. So, how to are you guys in any time schedule or something? Or will we be able to continue?
actually they have to sleep they have to go back to hostel by 9:50 I guess.
Okay, so would be calling it now okay then?
আৰু পঢ়িবা নে নপঢ়িবা সুধিছে হা পঢ়িবা কিমান সময় পাৰিম আৰু we can continue for 10 minutes more.
Okay, sounds good. So the next thing that we're going to learn is multiplying decimals. So remember, a decimal is something that goes into the tenth digit. So less than the ones digit. So you put a point and then a number. So how to do this? To multiply the numbers, you multiply them as they are normal numbers and count the total numbers of decimal places in the original numbers and place them that many places right in the product. So, what this means, you can see in the picture on the right, they are multiplying 1.1 times 0.8. Now, this might be confusing to do, so you can just multiply 8 times 11. And because they know 8 times 11 is 88, they write 88 as the answer. But then 88 isn't the full answer because it is 1.1 and not 11, and 0.8 and not 8. So then they count the total number of times they moved the decimal point. So they moved the decimal point one time to the right, and then they moved it two times to the right. So the first time they got 88, but then they would move it two times to the left and would get 0.88. Okay, we can work on just multiplying decimals for now because dividing decimals are a little bit trickier. So multiply this decimal 4.1 and 3.1, and then this shows 10.5 divided by 5, but try 10.5 multiplied by 5. And I will
Try কৰা এইকেইটা।
see.
প্ৰথমটো 4.1 into 3.1 পূৰণ কৰিব লাগে। আনসাৰ পালে যদি কৈ দিয়া। পিছৰ পৰা কাউণ্ট কৰে দেই, পিছৰ পৰা কৰিলেও তাতে ওলাব বাৰু। আনসাৰটো কৈ দিয়া। Answer is?
Answer is 12.71. 71.
Okay. Good job. Now, did anybody try the second one? To say multiply 10.5 times 5?
2.1.
Okay, so you were doing division. All right. So did somebody say the answer was 2.1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yep, that's correct for division. So I will show how to do these now for people who want a further explanation. So they're asking us 4.1 times 3.1. So this might look hard for us to do, so we count that the decimal point is 1 time and then 2 times. So now we can just think 41 by 31, but then make sure to move the decimal point 2 times left. So to do this, we multiply 1 times 1, which is 1, 1 times 4, which is 4. Then, because we're in the tens digit now, we put a 0 under here, and we say 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. So Then once we get these two numbers, we add it up. We get 12, we get 1,271. But this isn't the correct answer because we still need to account for the two decimal places from the original answer. So now we take the decimal point right here, we move it 1 to the left, and we move it 2 to the left. So the answer is in fact 12.71. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The second question is asking, I'll do both versions, multiply and divide, 10.5 times 5. So, how to do this is think that move this one decimal place over and now solve it. So 105 multiply 5 with a 1 decimal point over. Just you can do one arrow. So we see 5 times 5 is 25, and then we can't put the 2 here in multiplication. So this is a step called, we like to call carrying. So we put the 2 here, then we multiply 5 by 0, that would be 0, so we add 2, and now we do 5 times 1, which is 5. So in this case, this number was 2, but say if this number 0 was a 1 instead, it would be 5 times 1, which is 5 plus 2, which would be 7. But because it's 0, it worked out. And now, because we moved it one step over, now we need to move it one step left. So if we were to multiply, the answer would be 52.5. But now, let's do the division version, as some people did. 10.5 divided by 5, you can think of it as 10 divided by 5 plus 0.5 divided by 5. So this is probably an easier way of thinking it without going into depth right now. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, plus, you may be wondering, what is 0.5 divided by 5? But all this is saying is this. 0.5 divided by 5 is this. Anytime there's a decimal point, you can think of that over 10. So 0.5 would be 5/10, but 0.55 would be 55 over 100. So we can see here, we would keep the number the same, and then we would multiply, change the division sign to a multiply, and we would switch the 5 over 1 around to be 1 over 5. This would cause this number, we can cross multiply, and then figure out that it is 1/10, and 1/10 is equal to 0.1 because it is the 10th place. So we are doing 2 plus 0.1, so the answer is 2.1. So did all of that make sense, or should I clarify any more?
আকৌ এবাৰ বুজাব লাগিব নেকি যদি লাগে সঁচাকৈ নালাগে কাকো নালাগে চিয়'ৰ 100%. Okay. কৈ দে
Okay.
Yes,
we can move.
we can the next question.
Okay, is that good for time?
তোমালোকে আজিলৈ ইমানে শিকিবা নে আৰু শিকিব বিচাৰিছা তোমালোকৰ for the sake of time?
কৈ দিয়া
I think it's pretty late, so I think that should be good for my side. If we wrap up now.
হৈ যাব okay বুলি কোৱা
Okay. So, sir.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Kuan.
Thank you. Thank you, Pankaj.
Uh, Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Taz, for the time. I hope the session was good.
Yes, it was very
Mhm.
interesting.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. How was your final exam? চবৰে পৰীক্ষা কেনেকুৱা হ'ল?
চবৰে পৰীক্ষা কেনেকুৱা হ'ল সুধিছে কৈ দিয়া।
Okay. winter break থাকিব নেকি
আকৌ
স্কুলৰ?
এবাৰ
Christmas break?
ক্ৰিছমাছ ব্ৰেক আমাৰ কি ব্ৰেক হ'ব? বন্ধ কি হ'ব? অকে, আমাৰ মাঘ বিহু হ'ব বন্ধ, ক্ৰিছমাছৰ নহয়।
Okay, মাঘ বিহু হ'ব ন? ঠিক আছে। এতিয়া আৰু নেক্সট উইকেণ্ডো ঠিক আছে পলাশ তোমাৰ লগত কথা পাতি ল'ম আৰু we will plan, okay?
ঠিক
Have a
আছে।
good night. Bye.
অকে।